Hello and welcome everyone to round 3 of the Flat Out E-Racing DTM Porsche Championship, and tonight we are coming to you from France, from Sainte-Croix, and great news, I have on board my favourite co-commentator, well actually my only co-commentator, it's Skis. How are you doing, Skis?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic, and look, hey, I'll take it, 1 of 1 is all that matters.
Well, we're already quarter way through this season, and it seems to have gone so quick. And now we're starting to move. This is the last of the GT Sport individual, or what do you call them, fantasy tracks, before we move back on to, as I think, what do you describe, like the legendary tracks we've got coming up, places like Spa and Nürburgring and Suzuka. So this is like the last of the street circuits.
It's a gauntlet of tracks coming up. If you look at the schedule, so this is, as you said, the last of the actual street circuits. But after this, it gets fast. It's going to get fast in these next few.
But tonight, the battle is going to be keeping it out the barriers. I'm on with Jombold at the moment, who's currently fourth in qualifying. And wherever you look, there's Armco, isn't there?
Oh my God, it's everywhere. But also the good thing is it's not such a tiny track. You can go 3 wide. It'd be dangerous, but you can fit 3 across this. But you have to use every inch of it to go as fast as you can around it.
And the thing tonight is that we've got 12 cars on the track as well, so it is likely to get reasonably busy. And we know, we're watching the free practice as we were before the qualifying, that the top times are looking quite tight, and we've got a new guy who was looking quite feisty, but he's not in the top 8 at the moment. I know you were watching him.
Well, speaking of times, here are the first times coming across right now. Stormfly's holding first. Locksec holding second right now. Let's see, we got Chili Bass coming across next. Chili Bass goes second.
Well, the one I'm keeping an eye on at the moment is Vengeance, because when we were watching him in free practice, he was quick. But he's gone.
Yeah, I was just looking for him.
And he's just coming up to the line now, so let's see what he's going to do. And he's second now, and second. Just 0.1 off Stormfly. And of course, the other one we're looking for is Dan in the Kit Kat Porsche. Here he comes. Oh, only third.
He's 0.3 off.
So just to remind everybody what the race format is tonight, we're into our qualifier, which is a 10-minute qualifier, and this will set the grid for race 1, which will be 20 minutes. Everyone is likely to pit probably once, because you're going to have half a tank of fuel in the cars to start with, so they will be forced to stop. And then at the end of the first race, we take that grid, reverse it, and that forms our grid for race 2, but with a little twist that the top 6 drivers, so half the field from the first race, will have to start that second race on a harder tyre. And race length wise, the first race is 20 minutes and then the second race is 30 minutes, so that does throw up some 1 and 2 stop strategy, so we could get a bit of a mix and match. And when we think people are out of the race because they don't seem to be quite in the right position as time goes on, they do quite often come back and suddenly we get a surprise and they suddenly pop out of the front towards the end.
You were thinking exactly what I was thinking. I'm excited to see what happens this time with fuel strategies, tire strategies. We're going to have people run out of fuel coming down the last straight right here again. Like, what's it going to come down to? I'm very excited to see that, especially with how different people use more fuel and more tires compared to others with all the different driving strategies.
You're so right, but the other factor we got tonight is this is quite a long circuit. It's sort of over 2 minutes. So with that starting on half a tank, that will narrow the strategy options a little bit for them, won't it?
It really will, but it also, you never know, it could be a sweet spot for them to be able to measure it up just perfect. It might be less laps than we're used to seeing, but in the case of time, which is, since this is a timed race instead of a lap race, somewhat, you know what I mean. But since it's in case of time, you might be able to time it up just right because of the length of this, and you might be able to time it and get into the pits just right.
Well, just talking of time, Dan's just gone through a little bit quicker, but he still can't get in front of Vengeance. And the other one of our normal 3 front runners, which is normally Stormfly, Dan and Chili Bass is in 4th. So with Vengeance in there as well, who's just 0.031 of a second in front of Dan still, that's going to quite possibly be a 4-way battle for the lead.
Oh yeah, and Stormfly, speaking of him, I'm sitting on him right now, and he is just sitting right behind, it looks like, who is it, Tamoris, and just catching a slipstream off him from just a perfect distance. But he's also off of his time right here, but he might be timing it up on the straights.
Talking of slipstreaming, you noticed earlier that one of the drivers was doing a little bit of crafty bump drafting, but very subtly.
Oh, it was gorgeous. You know, the North Carolinian in me was loving it. It was, oh my God, shades of Dale.
And who was actually doing that little bit of antics?
It was actually the person who I'm watching on right now, which is Vengeance, and he actually just went purple, so you might want to keep an eye on him.
Let's have a quick look. I've hopped on board. Yeah, he's showing purple. So Timorous has gone a little bit quicker, but he's still 6th. Select a little bit off the pace. He's on a 2:08. So these lead drivers doing mid 2:06s. So Vengeance taking all the curb and a little bit more there, isn't he, coming up to this last corner. I always find this one so tricky. You want to take it faster than what it'll let you, because you end up just running wide and clipping that wall and just losing all your speed down the straight.
medium speed corners are so tough. I struggle with them all the time.
Oh,
I personally struggled with them earlier. What happened? What I missed?
Vengeance went quicker, but not quite quick enough.
Oh, and Dan just went second.
Oh, look how tight it is at the top. Look how tight. How much is? Let's have a look. So Dan is 9/1000ths ahead, behind Stormfly, and 6/100ths behind or in front of Vengeance. It's just so tight. Let's just hop down and see what the gap.
I wish we could run their ghost on top of each other for those laps.
It's a complete chasm back to Chili Bass of a whole 0.26 of a second.
And who was it that just went across?
I didn't see a quicker time flash up. And Vengeance looks like he spoiled that one because he just clipped the barrier then.
Okay, well it looks like we got Morris will be the next to cross the line coming up here in about 15 seconds or so. Well,
Dan's dived to
about 35 seconds.
Dan's dived to the pit, so I wonder if he's gone for that one.
Morris is spinning out. He's off. Ooh, and Stormfly held it.
I'll tell you what,
he just went straight for it and didn't even think about a wreck. And he's purple.
Okay, I've just flicked it back to a replay of Timoris. Oh yeah, exactly as I was saying there. He just went in there with a bit too much speed, and the front end just washed out across the gravel, and he was round like a spinning top. Oh, yeah. And as you say, Stormfly came around the corner and just went, I'm gonna keep it coming. So it looks like Dan has called it a day. He's in the pits with 2 minutes to go, so he's not going to have enough time to get round. Stormfly looks like he's going quite steadily. That's round the first corner, so he's done all that he can. So no more coming from him. The one who is still out there and on it is Vengeance.
That's who I have an eye on right now. He should be coming up across the line right here. He's going down the straight. Let's see if he can improve.
That's his lap done. No. Okay, who else have we got out there? We've got Lockstech out there.
We got Cajun about to come across the line right here.
It's Cajun coming next, is it? Let's have a quick look. Is he going to do anything to help himself up? Yes, he is. Helps up the position.
And then you got Lockstech coming up with, who is that behind him?
I think that's Select behind him.
Yep, and you got, who is that? Jan Bold diving into the pits right beside him.
Interesting. I was just looking at the minutiae of. Oh, Select went a bit quicker there. Select up to 7th.
Oh yeah, and who else is coming across the line right now?
Snod.
Oh yeah, Snod.
I think that's everybody. Right, just going to do a couple of quick hellos for people who are watching us on YouTube, and hopefully they've all clicked that like and subscribe buttons as well. Andy Rayner says good evening. David Cannon, one of our regular viewers, he says good evening as well. And Hayden Hall, who I know where his money is because I found out who he's related to. I think he'll be hanging his cap on Noddy's mate. So, Tommy Gunn has just joined. Tommy Gunn was the lucky, well, should I say lucky winner, opportunist winner of the race the other night. We were doing GT4s in Tokyo, and Tommy Gunn was right on the back of a leading pack of 4 who were really slugging it out like a pair of heavyweights, weren't they? And then it all got a little bit, as you say, rough and tumble at the final hairpin, and Tommy Gunn just slid through. But if he's going to join
in on this race, he'll be lucky number 13.
He slid through and took the win, didn't he? That was absolutely fantastic. I'm not sure how many we've got on board on the grid. Is Tommy? No, it doesn't look Tommy Gunn's made this one, but hopefully he can make race 2.
Well, luckily, if you know, as you said at the beginning of the season, they get to drop their worst weekend, correct?
Yeah, they do. But this is Tommy's first weekend, so here we go. Grid start, race 1. Remember, it's 20 minutes. They've got half a tank of fuel, so we're going to see a pit stop. So let's wait for the green, and we're off. Everyone looks like they got away pretty well. Stormfly still hanging on to the lead there as they head towards the first right-hander. Dan slotting into second. Vengeance on the inside. Chili Bass looking a little bit racy up the outside there, but looks like Vengeance has held on to third place. Bit side by side. Cajun 100 looking optimistic.
Noddy's was getting a little, was it? Yep, it was Noddy's was getting a little touchy back there, but they're They're all good. They all held on. It's everybody's right next to each other.
You said it could go 4 wide. It is going 4 wide. It is really feisty in that mid-pack. Lockstec at the front of it, but Vengeance is getting a little bit beaten up here. He's dropped back to 5th, so he just needs to get his eye back in. This is all looking very tight midfield at the moment, isn't it?
Oh, it is. It looks like Cajun got a little bit of... He's getting sandwiched there, and he's just finding the rough spots and dropping down, but it all seems like it's about positioning here inside of these packs.
Chili Bass looking very defensive over the long bridge and up to the hard braking. He was defending hard against Vengeance there. Vengeance trying to go right round the outside. I don't think he can make that work. No, he has to back out of it.
Ooh, and here we go. Let's see if we see some of that bump drafting right here.
Looking very, very racy here, isn't he? Oh, bit touchy-feely there, but I think they got away with it. So, unfortunately...
He immediately gave him room right after. I think he noticed he was getting too close and gave him a little touch.
Yeah, this flat-out right-hander looks like he's just got his nose in front, and then onto the brakes for the next right-hander we've got coming up, which is a lot slower. Looks like he's got the position. Oh, Chili Bass switch shots to the inside, selects on the scene as well.
Oh, and Vengeance is through. And it looks like Select has a fan in the chat as well. Right on cue.
Talking of fans, Noddy's mate's up to 7th, so again, he's having a good showing in the Porsches here.
I'm watching this battle between him and Select.
Well, I'm just going to hop up the front to see what's happening up the front here. So Stormfly's in the lead by 1.1. Dan is in 2nd, but he's coming under quite a lot of pressure from Lockstec at the moment, and I mean a lot of pressure actually. Coming to the first corner, I think Lockstec's going to have a look here because he's right under the rear wing of the Kit Kat Porsche. No, he can't do anything. He has to follow him through the corner.
Now, Lockstec has just been poaching. I watched him the whole last lap. He was just sitting and waiting. So he must have figured out where he can beat him through the corners and stuff now.
And he just has. He's just slid up the inside of that middle speed right-hander, and he's through into 2nd place. Dan's down to 3rd. But Dan's not giving it up easy. I watched Dan through practice, and down for these fast sweepers, he had a really good line and was giving Stormfly quite a hard time when they were together. So he can't get anything done here as they head out across the bridge.
Man, it is just close racing. I would say front to back, but Stormfly's got him a nice little comfortable 1.5 second gap at the moment.
He has, and the one that looks like they might be on the move is Vengeance, because he's got by Chili Bass and he's now working his way back towards Dan in 3rd place. So
you are correct.
So our expected top 4 is there, but we've also got Lockstec in the mix as well. So this could get quite lively as the race goes on.
Oh, what we got going on down at the back looks like Twano V4 drop. He's down 18 seconds.
Oh, didn't see that. He must have had a little bit of an incident of some form. Yeah, he's a long way back there, isn't he? So unfortunately we've missed that one. But Yonbold is having a go at Snob here at the moment. They're coming up to the right-hander. Looks like Yonbold's got it done. Yep.
Let's see, and Vengeance is on him. Vengeance, it is 3 right on each other right now, 2nd to 4th.
I'm on it. I don't think I'm going to let this one go for a bit. Let's hope they keep it all clean and tidy. So there we go, round complete, another lap, and absolutely nose to tail. Fanning out, Vengeance goes for the pits. Is he
a bit a plan.
Yeah, or is he a bit higher on the fuel usage? I'll flick to Lockstec and Dan. So
he was very high on the fuel usage, but he might have been able to fit one more in.
Anyway, he probably didn't risk it. Oh, Dan's having a look exactly where Lockstec took him last time. Dan's got Lockstec back, so Dan back up into 2nd, Lockstec down into 3rd. But as you say, the one making a clean getaway at the moment is Stormfly, who always does seem to do well in the first race, doesn't he? When he sort of qualifies up the front, he does seem to be able to sort of get his head down and get away quick in the first couple of laps.
He likes clean air. Don't we all?
It looks like somebody else may have gone for the pits as well, because I can see 3 cars.
It was Noddy's.
Ah, okay. So slightly different strategies here. We're about a quarter of the way through this race. So of those that are pitted, do we think they're going to make the full distance?
We will see. I know that they're staying on the same tire compound, so both Naughties and Vengeance did.
Okay, now out of lap 3, we've got Dan starting to gap Lockstack now. He's got by him again. So Dan, as we know, tends to play the long game. So he does seem to have broken a little bit of a gap there and got away from Chili Bass as well. So he seems to be getting himself back in the groove. Just to say that, Lockstack got a massive slipstream.
And he's
nearly got back down the inside. So slipstream seems to be having a much bigger effect than I imagined it would be tonight.
And this is all about positioning going into the pits, but Dan has much more fuel than it looks like anybody going into the pits up front.
So maybe he's
and
just
then, of course,
playing the long game.
Like Clockwork has the most fuel as well.
Oh, there's a surprise. The HKRT drivers are racing to form.
And Stormfly's in the pits. Let's see if Dan's... Nope, Dan straight into the pits. Top 4 into the pits. Top 5.
So
6, 7.
Timrus is going in as well. So the one we probably want to...
Snod, Jan Bold.
They're all in, aren't they? So the one I'm going to hop on board is Vengeance, because he's coming up round the last corner. So let's see how that's worked out for him.
And Naughties isn't far behind him, only 4 seconds. So Naughties could get good positioning right here as well.
So here we go, Vengeance coming through. Anyone coming out of the pits? Can't see it. No, Vengeance is through into the lead with a gap. With a gap now. But has he short fueled? Is he doing the 2-stopper, do you think?
I mean, he went full fuel, but it looks like he's using a lot. So we will see. But Naughty's up into 4th.
Stormfly second under pressure from Lockstack, and Dan down to 4th. So that sweep through the first pit stops has not worked for Dan at all.
Oh yeah, Dan's down to 5th. Looks like Naughty's undercut worked as well.
Oh, I didn't notice that. I didn't. Wow, Noddy's mate, he just loves these Porsches, doesn't he? He absolutely flies on a Sunday night. He doesn't seem to have quite such a good Wednesday, but on a Sunday night, he really does absolutely seem to fly in these Porsches. Just, and it's, you know, for someone that's struggling on pace, you think someone like a Porsche is something that's going to bite you a little bit more, but you know, Noddy's obviously got the speed there, and he's definitely using it with a tricky car like that 911.
I mean, he just drives it on edge the whole time, and if you watch, he keeps it on the borderline between almost rally driving at points, and it's just right on the edge.
And it looks like he's catching Lockstack as well.
Rapidly.
Well, just as we've got a little car moment, I'm just going to hop on because we're getting a lot of activity.
Oh,
on,
what happened with
YouTube
Dan? Select
tonight.
overtook him.
I'm sorry, go.
Select overtook Dan, and we got Chili Bass breathing down his neck.
How does that work? I'm on it now, yes. Select Dan and Chili Bass are all together. This is really keeping it close tonight, isn't it?
It's just like anytime we want to take a breather, something happens.
I know. I want to shout out the people on YouTube. Keep listening. Keep posting your thoughts, guys. We will get to you. Tell us who you think's going to win, because I see we've got quite a lot of Polish support going on as well. So I'm sure. I know that's
acknowledge.
Yeah, I know that's where their money's going tonight. So, but I'm not quite sure what's happening with Dan there, because normally we would see him a lot more on the pace. He's not using a harder tyre again, is he?
No, he's not, and it looks like he actually changed tires in the pits, but so he should have a fresher set, but maybe the others just have him rubbed in perfectly. And maybe he's just getting through the awkward phase at the start, but I mean, we're going to see.
So, dare I go YouTube? Yeah, I'm going to go YouTube. Cut across me if something happens. So we've got CC Cooper, they're saying, hello commentators, it's a great watch, so we appreciate your thumbs up there, and they cheer the Polish driver, and he's particularly referenced Select. And Damien, I'm going to give this a go, Pazdega, he's supporting Select as well. And Jameja TV says hello, he's another fan of Select. Select does seem to have quite a pool of support here tonight, and Dave Cannon's just popped on board.
Overtaken him.
Yeah, is Dan playing his long game routine? Are these drivers going to get caught out having to have a second stop? And that's maybe what Dan's playing with, because he knows it's going to be tight on fuel.
It could be, but we only have 9 minutes left, and so that's going to be, I mean, 3 more laps maybe?
No, it's a bit more, 4, maybe 5, because it's 2 minutes a lap, isn't it? It's like 2:07 a lap. So, well, let's look at it another way. It's 6 minutes since a lot of them pitted around quarter distance. So, yeah, it might be tight. I reckon Dan's playing the fuel game for a single stop, and he's working on the basis these guys are all going to have to stop again, because this is not the Dan we know and love, is it? He's falling away. He's down there in 7th now, but I think he's worked this one out. So, who knows?
That is not the Dan I've seen out-qualify people on super sauce when he's on mediums.
Yeah, but he's not. Maybe he's not out driving. He's out thinking.
It could be. But speaking of out thinking, we were talking about different strategies, and Vengeance has a gap, but he might need it because he looks to be the lowest on fuel out of anybody on track.
He's quick, but he's got quite thirsty on that car, which is almost the opposite to the HKRT drivers, because they tend to be quite fast but also quite frugal.
And he could honestly he could do a quick splash and change of tires, since remember he didn't change tires, so he could have been setting up for a quick pit stop at the end to get everything ready.
But again, what's a pit stop going to cost you here? 25 to 30 seconds?
A little bit less. It seemed to be a decently long one, considering how short the pit lane is as well.
But I suppose the other thing is it's only a splash and dash, so the fuel time's not going to be that long. You don't do the tyres, so you could have it down under 20 seconds, but it's still going to be painful. So I think this is going to be a real shake-up come about 3 to 4 minutes to go.
I could not take my eyes off of the 5 to 7 battle. Dan has dropped all the way back down to 7, Select back up into 5th.
But Dan's coming back at him as his fuelometer worked out that he can push a little bit harder.
All 3 of them seem to be on even fuel now, and Chili Bass making his move.
He's through.
On the inside.
Yeah. He's done it. Dan's coming on Select as well. I think Select's going to have to stop for fuel again. I think that's what this is leading me to think. I might be wrong, but I think Select's in a good position at the moment, but I think he's going to get some pain in the minute with having to stop for fuel.
Oh yeah, well if Dan, who was it? Select. If Select has to stop, so Dan will have to too. I mean, everybody might have to again. Speaking of stops, Vengeance into the pits.
Well, he's the first one to pull the trigger, so it'll be interesting to see where he comes out, because obviously he was leading, and he was leading by about 4 seconds, I think. So when he comes out, I'll hop onto him, and then we'll get an idea of what the pit stop drop is at this late stage, because he's only got to take enough fuel on for probably 3 laps. So he hasn't got to be parked there for too long, but he's way down, isn't he? He's off the top 8.
He comes out 9th.
9th. So he's 9th, 19 seconds off the leader, and he was about 4 seconds. So those late pit stops are going to cost about 23 seconds. And because the field is so tight, apart from Truno, who obviously had that earlier incident, because the field is so tight, it's going to cause major pain to anybody that does stop, because look what's happened to Vengeance there from 1st to 9th in 1 pit stop.
Oh yeah, but if you want to move up to Noddy's is under attack right now, speaking of people with more fuel, because Noddy's is the one looking like he might have to pit, and he's under attack by people with better tires and more fuel right now.
See Dan's doing the thinking here, is it? So Noddy's mate coming under a bit of pressure there, but he's holding on, but like I say, is he going to have to stop? So if he does, that's going to spoil his race a little bit there. Dan's looking racy, he's going down the inside. That's brave through there. Can he get it done?
Ooh, that's good racing. And back there looking at Vengeance, he made quick work of Cajun, so now he's moving up to Morris right now. He's got 7 seconds to him.
Right, I think this race is where we're going to see the deciders of who's pitting and who isn't.
I'm trying to see if I can get a good. Oh, who has damage? Janbold with damage down the back.
Oh, Noddy's mate getting a bit touchy-feely with Dan there. Dan was down the inside. Noddy's mate seemed to get a little bit sideways, and they just sort of touched very, very lightly. So I don't think they'd have picked up any damage from that. It was just all a little bit close.
Noddy's is probably going to have to be the next into the pits. He has the least amount of fuel.
And I think the other thing is, timing-wise, the pit stops might affect this. Whereas you could do strategic-wise. What I'm thinking is, at the moment, Stormfly, no, nobody's going. Nobody's gone for the pits. So do they all think they can make it?
Tamora's trying to make a move on Select right here. Oh, Select held on. That was, I thought he was going to be gone in the grass there. That was smooth by him to hold on there, but he lost the position.
He did. I switched to him just as he was running wide, and it's so easy to spin round, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, and there's about to be a battle for second place. Chili Bass and the crew behind him are chasing down Locksec.
So who's going to have to pull the trigger? There's one little thing that I've noticed that could be a factor in all of this, is that when Stormfly crossed the line, there was about 4 minutes 15-ish seconds left, and that is virtually exactly 2 laps. Now the thing with this GT Sport is that when the time runs out, as soon as the drivers cross the line, that is their race finished. So it may be somebody's going to have to, if they're running low on fuel and haven't got enough fuel for another lap, they may have to strategically slow up at the finishing line and cross it just as the time goes to 0.
That's going to be funny to see. I mean, that's what I was talking about earlier with people running out of fuel, and here we go. Locksec under attack by Chili Bass. Chili Bass at the inside takes second place.
So Dan's dropped off there, and Dan's still under a bit of pressure from Noddy's mate. So I think Dan's doing the field thing. I really do, but I think this is the lap where we're going to tell whether these guys can make it or not. If I had to put money on it, I'd put Chili Bass is one of the guys we know can stretch the field out. But what I'm going to do is hop on board with Stormfly as he crosses the line, just to get an idea of how much time is left. And it's going to be more than a lap. And is he going to the pits? No, he's not. So he's crossing the line.
And you are 100% correct about Dan. Dan has plenty of fuel left for plenty more laps.
Right, Stormfly went across the line. Here's the numbers, right? He went across the line with 2 minutes 11 left. He has a 5-second lead, and it's a 2 minutes 7 lap. So theoretically, he can back off by 4 seconds on the last lap, still be in the lead and cross the line, as long as he doesn't get caught by Chili Bass.
Well, guess who's back in the battle for top 5? Vengeance is, remember, 7 seconds off. He's now only 7/10 off of 7.
Well, he was obviously hoping everybody else was going to pit as well, and that doesn't quite seem to have happened. But what he might get is everybody else. Oh no, because everyone probably from second down is not going to get to the line until the time has run out. Oh, Dan's...
And it looks like Dan has made his choice now. He's ready to go. Yeah,
he's got to pull the trigger, and he's getting quite feisty round the back of Lockstack. Lockstack going defensive as they go across the bridge up to the sharp left-hander. A little bit of leaning on each other going there. Dan, I think, is going to have to back out of it. Yeah, there was never going to be space left there, was there? Whichever way you looked at it.
Well, it's still good. It's good racing. That's the good thing about GT Sport. You don't have to worry about having to take that car to the pits for 45 minutes after that.
Right, let's have a look. Who's doing what? So, Stormfly is still 4.5 seconds in front of Chili Bass. I think he's going to have to wind it back when he gets to the line. Do you? I can't see his field.
Dan's stuck it around the outside. Is he going to? Dan's in third right now. Dan's moving, but I think he's cutting down Chili Bass. But we'll see. This is going to be the last lap coming up here. So,
well, there's just 24 seconds. I don't think they're going to make. I don't think anyone from second down is going to have to do another lap. So I think Stormfly is going to have to do that easy off thing. So here we go, coming up to the line.
Let's see.
He's coming up to the line. Is he going to go for another lap? 4, 3, 2, 1.
He's through.
He's going again. So here we go. These guys are all going to finish now. So Chili Bass in second, Dan in third, Lockstack comes through in fourth, Timorous in fifth. Oh, Noddy's mate's out of field. Noddy's mate ran out of field as they came to the line. Vengeance is through in 8th. 9th is Cajun. Snod coming up in 10th. He crosses the line to finish. Oh, my 11th button is over there. Tuno, he's just coming through now. So he had that problem earlier, but he's coming out in front of Jombold, who I guess had some kind of incident as well.
I still don't understand how he's the only one left on the track. He's the race winner, and he still hasn't got the checkered flag.
Well, because he wasn't listening to the commentator and taking the advice, was he? He rushed at
lost.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but if he runs out of fuel, does it just burble around on like limp mode to get home?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. If he runs out of fuel and can't finish the race, isn't he disqualified?
Oh, I don't know. Well, Tuno's just gone through. Jombold's gone through now. So Stormfly still seems to be cutting on at a fair pace. I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's hop on board. Well, he's got fuel anxiety because the little petrol pump is flashing away. But I think he's got enough to get round.
It's going to cut off soon. We'll see. I hope he has his fuel map turned all the way to save.
Well, it's not as though he's actually racing anybody. You could
That's
argue.
Why I'm thinking that.
You could argue he's won by a lap.
And he's still sending it. He's not even a second off his time.
Well, he's obviously confident he's got enough to get
round.
He
has no fuel left. Oh, he's going to run out right here. He timed it perfect.
Oh, well, I thought he was going to the pits there for a second. No, he's just having a celebratory swerve.
Oh,
well done, Stormfly. You did that one well.
Lap.
Actually, you did that one quite well, because I think you should have backed off just to save it. So there we go, Stormfly with his Valentino Rossi livery on his overalls, celebrating his win there. Fantastic drive there. We were convinced quite a lot of those drivers were going to have to go for a second stop, and when it came to it, they didn't.
And I think we were talking about strategies. I had this thought with Vengeance. Maybe he accidentally did a second race strategy in the first one.
Well,
so maybe
possibly.
We're going to see the exact same thing out of him.
But then on the other side, he did say he was using quite a lot of fuel, and perhaps that's the downside, is that he's having to drive it so hard that he's using a bit more fuel, and he just needs to balance that between the fuel usage and the performance. So doing the lift and coast that I know the HKRT drivers do, just to preserve a little bit of fuel. And
that's very true.
And it's interesting, Vengeance has just posted in the chat that he says it's tougher than it looks. Well, that's what they all find out in the end.
I love how he got humbled after one race.
So, just to shout out people on YouTube, Dave Cannon said Stormy for King, and he got absolutely right. Neil Hall, who's Nuddy's mate, he was gutted, he thought he had enough. Well, you nearly did. And Simon Smith, that's Snod77. He said, I like this one. No barriers were touched inappropriately, and I wasn't last, so he's happy with that.
That's the perfect mindset for a good little GT Sports Sunday racing.
I like that. It's all about having a bit of fun. And then there's TND, who says hello, and then says Jamaica Semka, whatever that means. I hope that's a positive, and I'm returning that positive energy back to you as well.
Let's see what Google Translate has to say.
I'll leave that with you're the teacher. You should know this kind of thing.
God, I didn't teach Polish.
I don't know if they're Polish.
So Polish.
I don't know. We're global. We work with anybody. We're not fussy in that respect. So, just to remind you all out there who are watching, what is going to happen next is we have got race 2 coming up, and this has got a little bit of twist in two directions. First one is that we've got a reverse grid, so the order from race 1 is flipped on its head, and the drivers who finished at the back, so the Yombols and Tunos, they will be up the front, and people like Stormfly and Dan will be towards the back. And secondly, those top 6 from the first race, who are now the bottom 6 on the grid for race 2, will be on the harder medium tyres for their first stint. They can lose them at the end of the first lap, or they can run them as long as their fuel will take them. And talking of fuel, they will have half a lap to, half a tank to start the race on. So from our experience in race 1, they will probably be pitting somewhere around about the end of lap 3. So this is likely to end up, I think, into a 2-stop strategy. I can't really see this being a single stopper, do you think?
Oh Lord, no. But who knows? I mean, people can get creative, especially with a longer track like we were talking about earlier. You have to get creative.
Well, talking of creative, the rate of knots that Vengeance was using the fuel at, it might be a case that he might actually have to 3-stop.
I mean, it's going to be wild. Maybe some people, especially for the people starting on mediums, who maybe some shed the mediums right after the first lap, don't even complete a full lap.
I think that tends to be, I'm talking off the top of my head, I think Chili Bass tends to do that. He just chucks them in the bin at the first possible opportunity and then gets onto the softer tyres and works his strategy. He almost ignores the first lap and decides to go his... Oh, I'm just seeing someone saying bug a pit in the chat, so I'm not quite sure what was going on there, so we'll just keep an eye on things for the moment.
I guess Tamoris might be stuck. It looks like he's stuck in the pits with that pit, the little glitch in the pits.
Ah, okay. Was it Tamoris who had the problem with on Wednesday night with the GT4s, that one of the drivers couldn't join for the second race? Yeah, they're suggesting he exits and rejoins, but I think that may be hiding to nothing if our experience from the other night is anything to go by, but let's give it a go. We like as many drivers in as we can. Just talking to Wednesdays, we have 2 race series running here at Flat Out E-Racing. We've got our DTM Porsche one, which is the one you're watching now, and then on Wednesday night, a little bit earlier, 8 PM, we have our GT4 Championship, which runs on exactly the same track. So we'll be at Sainte-Croix B on Wednesday night at 8 PM, and we have similar size grids for that one, quite a few overlapping races. Similar format, we have 2 20-minute races, and the second race is a reverse grid. Tyre wear and fuel usage is quite low, so what tends to happen, it tends to be lights to flag, so it produces a slightly different format of racing. And if you're on our YouTube channel, hop back and look at Wednesday's night race, particularly the second one. We had some fantastic racing there. We were at Tokyo and it was barriers all the way round, and it was absolute wall-to-wall entertainment. I was worried that it was going to sort of spread out on that track and that we wouldn't have any fireworks, but we had a full New Year's Eve display. So if you want to have a good watch of something, pop back and have a look what was happening on Wednesday night. So we've got Timorous back into the pits, I believe, so hopefully he is going to be able to get out.
Yeah, and he seems to have, he jumped out and jumped right back in. I was running into a little bit of a PlayStation Network error right there while you were going through your whole little spiel there. I lost you for about 3 seconds at one point.
Well,
so hopefully the servers hold on.
Well, there's a few people that'd be happy to lose me for a bit longer than that, so 3 seconds, you're probably on a loser there. So here we go. What do we think's going to happen race 2? So we've got this reverse grid. We seem to have quite high fuel usage, particularly, not necessarily on tyres. So we've got those faster guys at the back on the mediums. How do we think this one's going to shake out?
I don't know, because, I mean, you have people that finished outside of that top 6 that are fast. That can legitimately create a gap because they don't have to use those mediums. But then there's also people like Dan, who those mediums seem to not really make much of a difference in his speed, and so we'll see.
And talking of that, interestingly, the guy I'm watching, Noddy's mate, who was the driver that ran out of fuel on the line, and I think that dropped him out of the top 6, so rather conveniently he's ended up on the super soft tyres for race 2, and we know he's pretty quick in this Porsche, so he could be an outside bet for not necessarily a win. I don't want to sort of knock his chances, but for a podium he could be in a good position there, because he'll be able to get some good laps in. If he gets his way to the front fairly quickly, he should be able to get some good laps in on those super softs and build a bit of a buffer to those guys that are coming along, you know, having to work their way through the pack.
Oh, well, and just in here on the chat, looks like Tamoris is going to have to start from the back.
Oh dear. Well, at least he's in the room. On the other night, Tamoris couldn't actually get into the room on the second one. I think he tried about 10 times. So, with the final.
Here we go, 5 seconds.
I'm not even going to place a bet on this one. I don't know where it's going to end up.
I'm a betting man, and I wouldn't place a bet on this one.
Go on. Hey, right, here we go. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about this.
Oh, I'm pumped. I'm really pumped.
Here we go. So we got Yombold on pole, Trudeau second, Snod in third, Cajun in fourth, Vengeance fifth. Now Vengeance in fifth. That could be a guy that could come in as a player on this one.
And I mean, Naughties can stick right to the back of them there. If Naughties and Vengeance can create a gap, they can cause an issue here in this race.
But it's Vengeance fuel usage is the one, or the bit that I think will play against him. Oh, it doesn't look like Vengeance got a particularly good start there, but it looks like Yombold got quite a good one. Vengeance again looks like he's getting a little bit beaten up on the first lap. He's just
Snod got a great start there.
Yombold got a good one as well. He's away and up the track as well. I'm trying to see who's moving up. Vengeance seems to be moving back. Noddy's mate not moving forward as quick as I thought he might.
Oh, Chili Bass, he's got damage right off the start. He's moving slow.
Oh, he's right back. Oh, that's not good. Right, well, he's going to go straight to the pits, I reckon. But look at this battle midfield. It's just the whole field. I don't know where to look.
And Vengeance already up into the front with Cajun right behind.
How did he do that? I didn't see him.
They just snaked their way through.
That was incredible.
I didn't even notice it.
No, nor did I, because there was just so much going. There were cars like 4 or 5 wide. So I went, I don't know what to look at. What do you commentate on when it's just mayhem in all directions? But, you know, the top 11 cars there are really, really close to each other, and everybody's still pointing the same direction, apart from, unfortunately, Chili Bass. So, it is really lively stuff. We just need this probably to settle down a bit so we can pick out a few and see what's actually going on.
I'm trying, and what I've noticed so far is that cutting through the field, Stormfly, his positioning of the car is just awesome. He knows exactly where he has to be able to make a move to get by, so he sets it up long before he gets there.
Well, he's already up to 5th, and he's looking at Snod with some interest. Because the one who's not moving through the field is Dan at the moment, so Stormfly could be going for a, what is it you call it, a twofer?
What? Cajun is flying. Where did this come from? After last race, this is out of nowhere.
Well, he has been pretty good in these Porsches, and
he's fast. I was just talking about on this track with the last race. He didn't seem to be up to the speed that he's doing right now, and this is awesome.
But I think he got a little bit beaten up in that first race. I'm sorry, on the first lap of the first race. I think he got a little bit beaten up, and I think that's where he lost all his time. I'm just.
Oh, well, the Polish favourite Select is moving up into 5th,
and Dan is just working on Snod, getting his way through to 6th on the left-hander. Snod running wide on the exit. He may just about to have inappropriate attention of the barrier, but I think he got away with it.
He almost spoke it into existence.
Be careful what you wish for. So, Dan through to 6th. We are settling down a little bit. I think, has Chili Bass gone for the pits? Oh, hello. Oh, Noddy's mate's blown it. He's round.
Oh.
He had a horrible moment there.
Oh, whoa, Tamoris and Yombold, that looked,
No, I'm back on Noddy's mate now. I don't quite know.
That was rude.
Noddy's mate, it was one of those horrible, got out on the grass, the back came round, and, oh, hang on, we've just got a little minor issue here, everyone. We're back. We had Noddy's mate had that horrible moment where the rear end came round, just he got a little bit wide on the exit on that right-hander coming up towards the bridge, and the back just came round and fired him straight across the track into the barrier head first.
Oh man, that sounds awful.
It was. I did run the replay of it, and it did look quite unfriendly to the barrier and to his Porsche. So here we go. Pit stops are starting. Vengeance has just gone in.
And Chili Bass shed those things on the first lap, just like you guessed.
Yeah, but also his hand was a little bit forced, I think, because of that incident right at the beginning. But interestingly, none of the other top guys at the moment are going into the pits. Cajun has stayed out, Stormfly stayed out, and Dan shuffled his way through to third there, I noticed.
Oh yeah, but Cajun has been in the perfect position this whole time, being on the super sauce and knowing he has a chance to get more of a gap as soon as that person in front of him went into the pits, and that's exactly what he's doing now. He just went purple. So
I think the other thing is, with Vengeance, we know he's got speed, but he is using a lot of fuel. So he's gone for his first pit stop at 5 minutes. Now, he was running half a tank, so theoretically a full tank will give you 10 minutes, and so he can't do it on just one more stop unless he eases off the fuel. My rough calculations
It seems like
are correct.
Almost everybody's going to have to go into the pits here, except for Tamoris, of course.
Of course. Oh, and Chili Bass, so that should bring him back a little bit closer, because he's obviously had his first pit stop already, so he won't he obviously lost that time of being off the back of the field, but hopefully we'll bring him back a little bit more into the pack.
Luckily, you know, it happened on the first lap. Whenever something happens, if it happens on the first lap, you still have time to recover, depending on how severe it might be, especially in a race like this where there might be multiple pit stops.
It isn't over till he crossed the finish line.
And Cajun has a 3-second gap now. He's doing exactly what he's supposed to do on this final lap.
I'm just looking a bit further down. 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th are all running together as well. And Tamoris is... Oh, I was going to say, he was looking a bit feisty in that middle of the pack, and then ran wide, and Select, the pole's favourite, was through and up into 7th place, and Timorous is down to 8th.
Select is scrappy. He fights for every... Oh, but he has a penalty right now, half a second. But he fights for every single position.
So, do we think we're going to get pit stops here? Yeah, Cajun's in. Yeah, everybody's in. Look, they're all streaming in. So the one I need to find is, there we go, down in 10th is Vengeance. So Vengeance, to give an on-track view, he is 17 seconds in.
Has him.
Yeah, well, Vengeance is 17 seconds in front of Chili Bass. So Chili Bass is still off the pack at the moment. So showing Vengeance in first. Is Cajun coming out?
Cajun went for a full fuel stop there. And a change of tires. So he went to a fresh set of super sauce.
So again, Vengeance, he's got that good pace. He's just so high on the fuel usage. He's 4 seconds up the road, having just pitted 1 lap earlier.
He's already a quarter of a tank in.
Yeah, I think he's free stopping. I think it's going to be painful.
He's got to be quick. Every lap has to be a quali lap.
Yeah, is he going to have to skip tyre changes to try and make this work?
I mean, he was creative last race and it backfired. Maybe he can be creative this one and it'll work in his favor.
Being creative at the moment, Loxtech's hanging on to the back of Dan. Dan's in 4th, Loxtech's 5th. But it's interesting, Dan's not got that sort of feisty pace that we're used to seeing from him. And we thought he was maybe playing a long game with Veal on the first race, and it never really came to fruition. He did have a reasonable result, but he wasn't sort of knocking Stormfly for first place. Whereas this race, he does seem he's in a sort of steady 4th at the moment. It doesn't seem to have that... Go on.
No, go ahead, I'm sorry.
He just doesn't seem to have that feisty pace that we're used to seeing from Dan.
I mean, and once again, he could be doing a fuel save, especially with this being a longer race. So it could be something where he's thinking smart. And but I was looking up, and Vengeance cannot create a bigger gap. Cajun's brought it down a tiny bit, but it keeps staying below 3.5.
Well, it was nearly 4 as they came out the pit, so Cajun could be on for something here. It just depends, because he's pitted the same time as all the cars behind him, so that is a real second place for him at the moment. I suppose the thing to watch is the gap from him back to Stormfly.
And Cajun's using a decent amount of fuel too, not as much as Vengeance. So Vengeance is 100% going to have to pit again before Cajun. So we're going to see another strategy play out for the lead.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, Cajun got a little bit worried on the exit of turn 1 there. I thought that was going to come round and bite him, but he just hung on to it. But I don't see Vengeance doing it with one more stop, which I think all the other cars are going to, and I think that's going to be a world of pain. Because what was it? It was over 20 seconds for that quick stop he had at the end of the last race, wasn't it?
It wasn't. A Stormfly just went purple, but a Stormfly's on edge too. The back got a little squirrely coming out of that last turn.
So, because at the moment, if I hop down, for example, to Tuno in 8th, he's 16 seconds behind Vengeance, so we're going to have to go back a bit further. Yombold, 18 seconds. So as it stands at the moment, that extra pit stop's going to take him all the way down to about 11th place.
And you know, the thing is, it could end up being not an extra pit stop, but it could end up being the exact strategy that everybody else has to use, with it being a 2-stopper.
Well, just looking at things,
3-stopper, my bad.
Yeah, I think that 3-stopper is going to happen for some of them. But just that Chili Bass is on his way back. He's just got by Yombold to take 10th place, so Yombold's down to 11th. But even so,
Cajun's got it. Cajun's almost got it down to a second for the lead.
Oh, he's got some pace there, isn't he?
I'm telling you, he is. Somebody irritated him after last race because he's out something to prove.
The other interesting thing with Chili Bass is, even though he was down in 10th, he's only 18 seconds off the lead, and that's less than the pit stop. So this really, really isn't over.
At all. And, oh man, he's going to get a chance at him here.
So I'm just going to hop on board with Cajun, so we'll follow Vengeance down, because he does seem to be winding him in he's winding him very quickly. I think we're going to go for it into turn 1.
Vengeance is wearing his tires down too, so Cajun made easy work of him.
He did. It was a real mirror signal manoeuvre job, that. He was straight through in a straight there. He obviously had good grip out of the last corner, and Vengeance must have been for track limits somewhere. Has got a 1-second penalty, which he's quickly burning, and I think Stormfly is now right on his case. Yes, he is. So Stormfly's looking to take second place, which he has done from Vengeance. So Vengeance down the third. Now Dan's on him as well. Oh, it's all going horribly wrong for Vengeance. He was first as they crossed the line. 4 corners in, he's now 4th. It's horrible. So the next
now he's got to make a recalculation.
Well,
Stormfly getting wide into the bridge. He used every bit of the track, but now Cajun has to create a bigger gap.
So let's go back to that gap. So the Stormfly Cajun gap really wasn't coming down, was it? It had come down by about 0.7 of a second, but not by the great bites I thought that Stormfly might be taking out of Cajun. So I think...
I was going to say, and Cajun can create a bigger gap here, because it looks like Dan is coming in to attack Stormfly. So Cajun, if Dan is impatient, Cajun can, get, I can't think of the word.
In his way?
Can gain from that.
Oh, Cajun can,
not the
yes,
word I was
definitely.
looking for. It was a synonym for it, but I could not think of the word.
We can come back to it. Well, Stormfly's still hanging on to that from Dan. They do seem, despite the fact they're battling for second and third, Stormfly and Dan, they do seem to be catching Cajun. There's a maybe tyre wears coming into play there, because the gap's down to, it was sort of 2.7 a couple of laps ago, it's now down to 1.4. So, and I think Dan wants by sooner rather than later by the look of it.
Well, and weren't those the two that were getting a little scrappy during midweek too, Stormfly and Dan? So they might be playing a team game here, actually.
Well, possibly. Dan's looking to the inside of the first corner. He's going to have to do it on the brakes. He's got alongside, he's through. The Kit Kat Porsche is through into second. So his next target is going to be Cajun. But I think Stormfly's going to come back at him because Dan ran a bit wide on the exit. And all right, Stormfly down the inside at the next right-hander. They're giving each other space, but it's really, really tight. Oh, Dan's back. Dan's come back on the next left-hander.
Oh my gosh. This is insane.
And this looks like it is playing a bit to Cajun's. No, it's not really. I think they are still, despite the fact they're battling like they are, I think Cajun is still being caught here.
He is slowly, but they are catching him. They're still out of slipstream range, though.
So I think we're going to see, if my 10-minute calculation on Vengeance is right, I think we're going to see him going in for a pit stop very soon. These other guys need to stretch this out for another 2.5 minutes if they're going to get these cars to the end on one more stop.
Well, Vengeance has somehow figured out how to save some fuel because he's almost even on fuel with everybody else now.
Ah, okay. Maybe there's been a little bit of a light bulb moment there because he's having to work out that if he takes. I'll get my words out in a minute.
You can do it.
I'll try. Let me deep breath. I can do it. What he's worked out is that the pain of that extra stop compared to winding your fuel back and having a little bit less performance, it's a win-win every time on leaning that fuel off because he's still running in 5th at the moment. Because the field is still pretty tight, if he takes a pit stop, he's going to tumble all the way to the back. So he needs to match his strategy with the guys in front of him.
And that's very true. And I'm interested to see does somebody go to the pits before before it's a necessity? Do they work that into the strategy where they can have a short fuel to take them all the way to the end?
I don't think they can because I think they can only run about 12.5, 13 minutes. Well, what did they do on the first race? It must have been pits at around about 7 minutes, so they got 13 minutes to the end. Stormfly a little bit longer, so they can pit any time from the end of this lap and still get to the end.
Well, here we go.
Yep.
Dan going up the inside for the lead.
Cajun's hanging on to it. Next one's a long right-hander. Stormfly's coming in. Look at that, 3 abreast.
3
Fantastic
wide around.
stuff.
Oh, that is gorgeous.
Oh, and that was a twofer on Cajun. Dan got through, and so did Stormfly. So Cajun got really beaten up there, unfortunately. So he's still there in a really strong 3rd position, but Stormfly and Dan, it was like it was an each side punch-up job there, and they were through and up into 1st and 2nd. So I think Cajun.
So now Cajun just has to stick to him.
That's all he has to do. It was like you were reading my mind.
Yeah, exactly. If he sticks to him, he's there at the end. If he's right there with 2 minutes to go, anything can happen.
And he's got about 5 seconds on Loxtec, who's currently running 4th. Timorous, he's just a second behind him in 5th. And Vengeance, where's he running at the moment? He's 6th. So he, as you say, is definitely, I would imagine, run his fuel back. He's got 4.5 seconds on Tuno in 7th. So I think he's probably going to end up finishing around about that, unless there's anything lively happens in the latter part of the race. Tuno's there in 7th with Select a little bit out of position there, I'd say, down in 8th at the moment, but he's only a second behind Tuno. And then in 9th is Chili Bass, who is just got by Snod. So
nice.
It's really not working for Chili Bass tonight, is it, after that first lap incident?
Yeah, but he's scraping and clawing to get back what he can.
And Snod's there in 10th, having just been taken by Chili Bass. Noddy's mate and Yonbold. Noddy's mate obviously had that incident going onto the bridge. He's got 11th off Yonbold at the moment, but it's battles all the way down because for 11th and 12th there's less than half a second between them, so everyone's having a battle.
We're going to start seeing pit stops here at the end of this lap. I guarantee we see at least 1 or 2 people in.
Well,
we might see a whole lot more than that.
Chili Bass has gone and Noddy's mate has gone.
Loxsec, I'm worried about Loxsec.
Stormfly
he might not have enough fuel.
That could spoil his party, couldn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, and Chili Bass and Noddy's mate went ahead in there. Maybe they're going, hey, if we can hit this undercut with clean air, maybe we can get back in there.
Stormfly and Dan have swapped positions. Stormfly's nipped back into the lead, and as they're going across the bridge, Stormfly was getting quite defensive, a bit of weaving and trying to block the inside line for the left-hander as they come off the bridge. So these two yet again are knocking 7 bales out of each other the whole way round the track.
I mean, it's our Hamilton-Verstappen rivalry here in flat-out e-racing. It's our local one right here. They just always at each other. And it's not like they hate each other. It's a friendly rivalry, but it gets heated, man.
Well, it does, because it's just, when it's so tight like that, the margin of or difference or doubt or whatever you want to call it between the two cars is so small, you've got to either hope for a mistake from the other driver or just, launch it.
Just about happened with Dan there.
Yeah, you either got to launch it and hope, or hope there's a mistake. It's just so marginal.
Keep an eye on Locksec. Keep an eye on Locksec.
Got him.
He might need a push into the pits.
He needs his supporters. The Polish supporters need to will him along. Well, he's on the last corner now.
Oh, hopefully he doesn't.
Oh no, he's on the wrong side. He's on the wrong side of Timorous.
Luckily, Timorous is going in too. Ooh, that could have been bad.
So who do we need to hop on board? Slick's in, Dan's in, Snod's coming around. Snod's going in as well. Yombold is in. So everybody's gone in at the same time. So it looks very much that Vengeance is the one.
Chilibass is very much back in this. It's looking like where he's coming up on the track. He's very much back in a battle now for it looks like at least a top 7 spot.
Well, they are all just piling out at the front. Stormfly got 2.5 seconds on Dan during the pit stops. Was that no tyre stop?
He's short fueled. Short fueled. He did not fill up all the way. He has 3/4 of a tank while Dan has a full tank.
Ah, okay. But with 9 minutes to go, I would say you probably don't need a full tank, because they've gone from about 23 minutes down to 9 minutes, which is 14 minutes. And now they've only got to do 9, so yeah. So I'd say Stormfly's got that right. It's almost like Dan has overfilled it.
I mean, honestly, what I've noticed is Dan likes to overfuel. He likes to put as much on there as he needs because he knows he has the pace, and he just doesn't want to have to worry about not being able to use the pace that he has.
Well, or have they been leaning off, which is how they've got this far into the race?
It really could be, but Cajun's still, as we were talking about, Cajun's still there. He's right there waiting to pounce if there's a mistake made.
And not far off, and he's got a bigger gap behind him than what he had before, so he's now got 7.2 seconds on Timorous.
Oh yeah, and I'm keeping an eye on Chili Bass. Chili Bass is creeping up on the little the pack right there between 9th and it looks like 9th and 6th. He's creeping right up on it.
Let's just hop back to that. So he's in 10th at the moment. There he is. I've got him. So yes, it's great. We're getting some great racing here tonight with these packs of cars running so close to each other.
We've had periods where they're spaced out too, and it's like, okay, well, everybody's kind of running their own race, and then everything just falls back into place when it comes time to take a pit stop. It's fun to see.
Oh, Lockstek's pushing it. He ran wide on the exit there. I saw Gravel getting flung up, and Sleck's closed on him a little bit, and Tuno's right on the case as well.
Chili Bass is on him.
So the other thing we just want to keep an eye on the corner of is the gap between Dan and Stormfly, whether Dan's running a higher performance which is why he stopped for that fuel, which would give him an advantage.
Vengeance is coming back. Vengeance is making a move for 4th right here on Timorous.
He's got it done. A little bit of a love tap.
That was that was a little iffy right there going through, but he held on. Thought he was going to lose the car for a second there.
Just a little brush of paintwork just to let him know that he'd passed him, but as he turned the wick back up again now that he knows he's got enough fuel to get to the end. We've only got 6.5 minutes to go, so maybe he's turned the wick back up, so he's got himself back up to 4th, and he's 7 seconds behind Cajun, so he might be able to do something. All of our
leaders have a similar gap between each other, between 1st and 3rd.
Yeah, Dan's not making any inroads into Stormfly there at all, is he, really?
But I mean, as we've seen, they are using every bit of this track. So if they use just a tiny bit too much into some grass, those tires might slip.
But my thinking was, well, the gap is down to 2.2. Is Dan using higher performance than Stormfly, which is why he decided to have that longer stop and fill his tanks right up, because turning that performance up will use more fuel.
Oh, 100%. I mean, and you can see, because it's creeping up towards Stormflies, you can see where Dan is using a whole lot more fuel.
It's still 2.2 though, with 5 3/4 minutes to go. So we'll let that one keep boiling. So who do we think?
Chili Bass has a second to 8.
Let's have a look. I'm just shooting back. So yeah, and he's got 3 cars there all together, which could give him, well, that would bring him up into 6th place, wouldn't it? So that wouldn't be a bad return.
This would be a hell of a recovery drive.
Yeah, considering how far off he was on that first lap, and he's got probably, I guess, 3 laps to get that done.
Oh yeah, I mean, and coming down to the end of the season, the spots that he can make up right here possibly could decide where he is at on the standings come the end.
Well, remember what I think it was the DTM championship last season. No, sorry, it was. I think it was the Wednesday night Group 4 was actually decided in the final race by about 4 points. I think your dog wants attention there, Skis.
God, she sounds like a killer, but she's just a big fluff ball. Somebody probably walked across the sidewalk.
Just hopping onto YouTube, just saying hi to Andy Rayner. He's saying that Vengeance leaned his fuel off. Yep, I think I agree with you on that one, and I think he's tweaked how he's running these races now to make sure that he can do it on a minimum amount of stops, and he is definitely making the comeback. And talking to comeback, he is creeping up on Cajun in Cajun's in third, sorry, Vengeance in 4th. So he's got it under 7 seconds now.
Oh, we got a yellow flag. We got a yellow flag. Who was that into the wall?
Can't see who's stationary. I can't see anybody. I can't see anybody dropping down the order.
It was Locksec. Locksec into the wall.
Hang on.
And now Chili Bass up into 6th.
Let's have a look.
Oops, 7th now.
I was taking the risk of going back to see what he was, whether I could catch his incident, but unfortunately we missed it on the replay. So Cajun now looks fairly safe in 3rd, doesn't he? He's running a solid race, just got to keep it between the barriers. Looking back, it looks like Vengeance is pulling away from Timorous, so that one's fairly settled. And we'll just have a look forward. Oh,
Chili Bass all the way back up to 6th, man.
3 minutes to go, and Dan is just 1.3 off Stormfly.
And he's just gone purple.
And the other thing is, with Dan, how close, because I know they tweak the parameters on this, how close does he have to get before the slipstream starts to take effect? It used to be 0.8 of a second, I believe.
What do we have the slipstream set to? Real?
Real, I believe.
I want to say it's about 0.75 is what I'm used to.
So he's probably a lap away from getting there. Oh, Stormfly's just gone purple.
And then Dan went purple right after him. Dan is... This is awesome, man.
It is just for Verstappen and Hamilton all over again, isn't it? Where's really everybody else?
And Cajun's running a hell of a race, but... I mean, these two at the front are just different gravy, man.
They are very much so. It's nearly down under a second. Again, Stormfly goes purple.
And then again, so does Dan. Dan is 1.75 up on his time right now.
Here we go. This will, unless anything bubbles over. The only one that possibly might do, let's just, while this is brewing up, I'll just hop back to see who is doing anything further back. Chili Bass has actually, unseen by us, whether they're... Oh, obviously Locksec had an incident, but he has got by Select and Juno as well. So Chili Bass...
yeah, he capitalized on the Locksec, right.
And not only that, he's just 7.5 seconds behind his teammate, who is now... Oh, missed that. Hang on, we're going to go for a quick replay on that one.
Nice move on Vengeance.
we're just going for a replay on that one, and there was quite a gap actually there by the look of it.
But it looks like Vengeance is saving a bit of fuel for another lap. He's playing smart just in case.
So yeah, great move there by Timorous, and I don't want.
This will be it. This is the last lap right here.
And we're just having a minor glitch, but we're all right. Unfortunately, we've got the great thing with GT Sport. It does have the occasional glitch with the replay, which is slightly painful.
Happens. Video games.
There it is. Control Alt Delete always works it out. So I don't think Dan's going to do this.
Right under. He might. I mean, I don't know. He's just got to get it down there. If he can be faster through 2 more turns, he can get that slipstream.
Across the bridge, and to be fair, he was really quick through here earlier, but no, he's not so quick this time.
Well, he's gaining on him. He might. Oh, whoa! What happened?
I'm not quite sure. In the background, I daren't go to replay because it's playing up. I think he may have caught that barrier. You know, as you go around that long right hand onto the bridge, I think that he came run wide and clipped that barrier, and I could see him ghost out in the background. He's now 2.6.
Is Cajun going to hunt him down now? Dan has damage. Is Cajun going to hunt him down?
I don't think he's got long enough. It's still 6.2 seconds, and it's not coming down at a rapid pace, but that has given Stormfly a massive gap there of, well, I say massive, in the terms of the battle between these two, 3 seconds is a massive gap. So
oh my gosh!
I think that seems.
Yeah. Oh. You go ahead. You were saying what I was about to say.
Yeah, I think that one little mistake has made all the difference. And we were saying earlier, it was all down to you either rely on launching it up the inside and hoping you pull a manoeuvre off, or the other driver makes a mistake. And in this case, the other driver made a mistake. So Stormfly has taken great advantage of that one.
I mean, and I'm looking out right now to see if we have anybody who's going to be iffy on fuel, but we look good down to the back. Select looks like he picked up some damage along the way, as did, well, we saw Locksec, but Select. I didn't see that one happen. So
Stormfly across the line, he first play. Oh, Dan! Dan could be out of fuel.
Oh my lord! Oh my lord, he did it! Did he? Oh did my god!
0.28 of a second over Cajun.
Chili Bass looks like he was about to be out of fuel too, but he might be. Oh, is Chili Bass gonna make it?
Yeah, no, he's good.
Yeah,
he's still flat out to the line.
Ooh.
Select in 7th.
Oh man, Dan cut that close.
Locksteck recovered up to 8th. Snod in 9th. Yeah, Dan must have had the wick wound right up. Because he as you know, he took more fuel on.
Oh my gosh, that Cajun, 0.28. He shaved off 6 seconds coming into that because of him losing fuel. That is wild.
He just, well, he had that gap, but Dan over Cajun. We always thought that was all done, but I hadn't spotted that his fuel was dropping off.
I didn't notice that one either. I think we were both so convinced that they were just going to make it to the end easily that we were just watching the racing. Especially as he'd gone for the full fill-up at that second pit stop, so didn't think that fuel would actually be a factor. So it does show that they were fuel saving to make themselves work for that 2-stop, which Vengeance, who I think finished 5th, did jump on board and get the understanding of. So I think he would probably be quite chuffed with that 5th place. Oh yeah, that was a big improvement on his I wouldn't say a big improvement on his driving. His driving was great in both, but it was a big improvement on his strategy and how to stay in the race. And then we just got to look out for what is it looking like. Do we know what the standings are looking like halfway through the season now? I haven't got. I did look for them just before, but up there at the top at the moment, it's Stormfly, Dan, and Chili Bass. But of course, they've got drop scores to start factoring in, so it's not going to give really a true picture quite yet, but it is very close there at the moment. I do know that much. That was a great first half of the season, going through all these GT Sport tracks. And, you know, they're always fun. And, you know, I hope we see them in GT7 as well. But there's just something about these historic, beautiful real-life tracks that we're getting into here now. And we're going to see some very good racing.
And just talking to good racers, the one I mentioned tonight who I think did very well was Cajun. He didn't have that great his first race. He got a little bit bundled out early on the first lap of race 1. But race 2, a really solid run there, taking full advantage of that reverse grid, using the softer tyres. He did get caught by Stormfly and Dan, and obviously Dan ran out of fuel right at the end there. But he was right on their pace. He finished just 9 seconds off Stormfly at the end over a 30-minute race.
I mean, yeah, if we were to hand out a driver of the night, my vote 100% goes to Cajun. I mean, because of course, you know, Chili Bass is normally climbing up. His climb back was also we can't forget about that. We got to come back to that. But also, you know, Dan and Stormfly, they do amazing every time. But what Cajun did in that second race was impressive, and that is an understatement.
And the other good drive there, I thought, was Chili Bass, who had that incident on lap 1, and then got himself, he was all the way down at the back end of the field, got his way back up to 6th. Obviously that was helped by Locksteck's little incident, but that was still a great recovery drive there, and he's one of the drivers that we put in that sort of top 3 or 4, so that could be quite, as you mentioned earlier, quite important, just those few points come the end of the season.
Exactly, because a wreck, as we've seen, can happen to absolutely anybody on the start. And if it happens to one of the leaders, they might have to claw back, exactly like Chili Bass did right there. And it's that little bit of scrapping that makes the big difference in the end, especially when you're battling at the front for most races.
Certainly does, certainly does. Well, we've had some fantastic racing there tonight. We'll be back on Wednesday night at 8 PM on the same circuit, and we can already see what a great track, great racing this track produces. So join us on Wednesday night at 8 PM for our GT4 Championship, and that's based on Asian manufacturers, so anything from the Far East. So we've got Hondas, Hyundais, Toyotas, you name it. So hope you all enjoyed tonight. We've had a great time here, so it's good night for me, and over to you, Skis.
And hey, and y'all have a blessed one. We'll see y'all next week.